So yeah.
I didn't even get sent to jail. They just picked me out. Now I won't even go on to our fucking onto our Stoop account. I have to fix it. I can't go on.
It's crazy that people can just like take you away from social media now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I know.
I mean, the only thing I know I did do was I was in that UFC group. Remember I was telling you those guys, Paul?
Yeah. Oh, they probably reported you.
They probably all reported me.
It was a third party, right? It was a third party. I got you.
It was like a week ago though. Paul, so Drew, I was in this UFC chat thing, and the guy was posting something about Islam Khabib, and he was talking about the fighters. And it says in the caption it was Justin Gaethje, all the three guys that just Gaethje, Poirier, and McGregor. And I was like, all McGregor is better than all three of those guys already. So if he beats Volk, he's got two guys that are way better. And then all these people were like, I was like, dude, I'm not even talking about Khabib. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So all them people probably all reported me for not agreeing with them with Khabib. And now I went to log on, like open my app this morning, and I was like disabled.
It said nah.
It said nah. You ain't in jail.
Nah.
Like, there's no Facebook jail. You're gone. And
That's
I was like,
crazy about the world now.
Yo, can you see my stuff? They're like, you're gone. I don't even.
Nah, they took your graphics down and everything.
Like, what? I'm like, hey, well, quick.
It said nah. It said
all the people on my Facebook. So I'm like, whatever.
Bobby, they put you under the jail, bro.
Yeah.
I'm in the freaking lockup from the.
You're not even on death row at this point. Like you under the.
It's only gonna get worse too. 10 years from now. 10 years from now, everybody's gonna have a smart car, and then if you say something wrong on social media, you can't go nowhere for 30 days.
I didn't think about that. I can't even think about that.
The
car's off.
Let me see something here real quick. Paul, can you see it?
It's not letting you on?
It didn't let me on here, but
hold up.
I'll have to share it.
Let me see what I can do here. Nah, you're good. We're there. We're live.
Is it on the?
Yeah, I see it too.
Page?
We're live. We're straight.
I know we're live, but I don't know if it's in the group page. I just set it up. That's why I was doing. That's why I was taking a little bit here. I had to reconnect everything since it deleted off of my page.
On my notifications, it says we're live.
Yeah, same with live on mine too.
Because on this account with all these like destinations, you have to reconnect all of the ones from my Facebook. And I had like 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah.
Whatever. We're ready. We're good to go. We got my man Drew in the studio. He got good picks too. So I mean, what'd you go last UFC event, which was like a month ago now?
Well, so last year when I was picking in your group, I was pretty 500. I'll be honest, but this year though, the fight night, last fight night, I can brag. I went 8-3 in my picks, so I did good.
Yeah, we didn't really watch it, but I mean, we're gonna do a thing here. But you guys ready to go?
Yeah, let's get rocking.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Stoop Life Podcast. Today, we got a special guest on here. If you guys have been listening to us, you already know him. We got my man, Drew. How you doing today, Drew?
Doing good. How are you guys?
We're good. We're good.
Hey, we get to go.
Anytime we get to have a podcast with you, it makes it a special one because
we already did 2 with his brother.
So. On you. Yeah, we only got the one half of you, but tonight, guys, we're going to be talking about UFC. We got UFC event, first pay-per-view event of the year coming up, and they're actually going to Brazil for UFC 283. So I think the card, I like the card, to be honest with you guys.
I love the card.
And I think the environment down in Brazil, first time in Brazil in a long time, I think like 2 or 3 years. I think it's going to be an electrifying event here, especially with 2 main events. We got 2 title fights. Both guys are from Brazil in the title fights. So we're gonna see how we think they're gonna fare, because I think everyone in this might have a different opinion on both the fights. Because I mean, they're good fights. So before we get started, I want to talk about how the UFC has announced some bombshell fights for the first quarter of the year. Now, I remember last year, a lot of the fights in the beginning of the year were the good ones. Like Hamzat fought, Holloway fought, all those banger fights that Gaethje won. They were in the beginning of the year. Already in the beginning of the year, we have this card that we're going to talk about. The next card is Islam and Volk, which is going to be that could either be a like record book fight, or we might see another Islam easy victory like he always does. I don't know, but we're going to talk about that in another one. I also like Sandman versus Vera. What do you guys think about that matchup? I think it's gonna
First
be
of all, I love Cheeto, so I mean, it's one of those fights where I love both these fighters. Like I love Morano and I love Cheeto, so it's like I'm split on this one because I know what Bobby knows. I was very high on Moreno this year. Like I was very impressed with the kid, and he really ever since he was damn near out the UFC and he came back and he's like, I'm here, I'm a champion. So, and same with Cheeto, man. He's always gonna bring the fight, and I think him and Brandon they're gonna make a classic. So I don't know where my heart is right now with this.
They ain't fighting. I said Sandman.
Oh, you said Sandman? I thought we were talking about. Oh shit!
I'm talking about that fight real quick. I'm talking about a couple of the fights because we got Cheeto versus Sandman coming up. I think it's a crazy fight because Drew, Sandhagen don't get knocked out, and all Cheeto does is distort your face. So I mean, I'm excited for that fight. But out of the upcoming fights that we got coming up, Drew, what one are you most excited for?
I think Cheeto versus Sandhagen, honestly, because I love both of those guys. And I've been high on Cheeto for a while. I thought he'd be fighting for a championship a little bit sooner, but obviously he took that step back when he fought Aldo, and he kind of got wrestled the whole time. But he's obviously figured out how he's the best fighter by how he fights now. Like he's almost too patient sometimes, but every time he hits someone now, it's just so devastating, like you said, Bobby. And then Sandhagen, kind of the same thing. He got choked out by Sterling. He was on the rise. But then when he came back from that loss, he was just killing dudes. Like, for instance, the flying knee on Frankie Edgar. And there was a couple other ones where he was just starching dudes. But obviously Sandhagen's taking a couple steps back. The TJ Dillashaw fight was a close one. I thought we might disagree on this, but I thought he actually won that fight. It was close, though, so it could have gone either way. And then, obviously, the fight against Jan. I thought he looked the best he's ever looked against Jan, but Jan was just that good. But I think Sandhagen is at the top of his performance right now. He's at his peak. I think Cheeto is, too. So it's going to be a crazy, crazy fight. I have Cheeto winning that fight, but I will not be shocked at all if Sandhagen wins that fight just because they're both unbelievable.
I agree with you because like Sandhagen, every fight that he's lost has been like a close fight. Every one of them,
except for the Aljamain, obviously, when he got choked out. But he's resurged. He's resurged since that. Ever since then, he's been.
I think he got surprised in that fight, though. To be honest with you, sometimes in fights like some guys get you in the positions, and like when they're that good at those certain positions, especially in like a jiu-jitsu grip or something, you can't get out.
100%. Yeah, I think he just got caught real quick, just like you said, Bobby. I think he was just like, damn, like that was so fast, and I just wasn't prepared for it.
Now, Paul, I want to talk about your favorite upcoming fight. We're gonna head to London, the O2 Center. They're going back to London, March 18th. We got Usman and Edwards 3. Yep. There's all this chat. Edwards is gonna fight someone different. That Usman wasn't ready, but they signed the fight. They're gonna be fighting in London. How excited are you for that fight? Because we already have the same prediction.
Extremely exciting. See, first of all, the English are fight fans. So this is great that they're bringing it to the O2, that's where Tyson Fury fights a lot. That's where you see these great boxers coming up and fighting. Now we're bringing MMA in this, and we're bringing the champ in with it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of hyped about it because it's like these two are 1-1 against each other. This is a grudge match. Like this is for it all. Like this is. Usman got something to prove. Like, listen, you caught me with a lucky shot, I'm gonna whoop your ass. But Leon's like, listen, I'm still gonna give you the same work. I love this fight, man. I honestly do. I didn't think I was gonna like it this much, but I love it. And it's in the O2, like I said, it's gonna be live.
What's your prediction for that fight, Drew?
I'm going Usman. Usman by the third round.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. I agree with you. Let's see if Drew's not making a unanimous decision here.
It's unanimous. I think Usman wins. I think it's by decision though, but I think he works them all 5 rounds and he makes sure he doesn't get caught slipping in the 5th round. If it does go to the 5th round, I think he's going to be very wrestle heavy because I think he's going to be thinking that in the back of his head. Okay, don't get kicked in the head. But Leon. Usman, to be honest, Usman was dominating the second fight too, obviously up until that last kick. Yeah. In the corner of Leon, if people at home haven't seen it yet, the corner work by Leon Edwards was incredible. They dubbed some Rocky music on it too. It just made it one of the best videos I've ever seen. Yeah. It was so sick. Gets me hype every time. But I think Usman just comes back. Kind of like Nunez versus Pena. When Nunez just worked Pena the second time they fought, I think kind of Usman does the same thing to Leon and just dominates him the whole time. But
I'm curious to see how much of the crowd affects this fight, because you never know. Like Paul, you see them English fighters over there when they're fighting like an American coming over.
Yeah, I don't get in their
head.
I don't know, Drew. I don't know if you watched any of those kind of like any of those fights there with like Tyson Fury when he was fighting guys at the O2 or Anthony Joshua. Yeah. It's hostile. It's a very hostile spot for Americans when they go in there, and Usman's coming in there. It's gonna get hostile because this is their champion. They love Leon Edwards in the UK. They love him. They absolutely love him. Like they adore him. He's right up there with the Tyson Furies and AJ and Anthony Joshua's. So Usman's gonna go into something he's probably not used to, which is a very, very hostile crowd. Yeah, Brits don't care. Brits don't give a shit.
Now, I mean, that's not even the biggest fight of the month, though. That's
I know.
The biggest fight of the month is probably going to be the biggest fight of the year. It's probably the biggest fight in the last 3 years. If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about here, then you've been living under a rock. You're probably a tennis fan. That's it. Maybe cricket, maybe. But we got the return of who many believe, including myself, is the MMA GOAT. We got John Jones coming back to fight Cyril Gane in Vegas on March 4th. Now, I'm very mad about this fight because it should have been 2 weeks later when I'm in Vegas, or 3 weeks later. It could have been in Brooklyn. We could have went. But anyway, this fight's going to be a banger. Like, the fight card already is phenomenal. They already have reported they're going to put Valentina on the card. They're going to put Amanda Nunes on the card as well. They got Bo Nickel making his debut on the card. The card's going to be absolutely unbelievable with this main event topping it off. Now, we're going to do a whole episode probably just on this fight, and we're going to talk about it. There's a lot that you could break down with this fight, especially on John Jones' side.
Yeah.
Coming back. But, I mean, early predictions for the fight. What do you guys got? We'll start with you, Drew.
I got Jones. I know he's jumping up to heavyweight. But my biggest thing, we were talking about this before we went live, but if Ngannou can take down Gane, Jones probably won't have an issue taking him down. I think he uses his wrestling. Obviously, Jones is one of the smartest, if not the smartest fighter in the UFC. Yeah. And I think he's just going to take him down. Do some vicious ground and pound. I don't know if he's going to actually stop Gane, but I think it's going to be a 5-round decision victory by Jones. He's super exciting, obviously, and that's why he's the biggest name probably still in the UFC besides Conor, but Conor's been gone for a while. But he does fight to a lot of decisions. So does he come back and just prove a point though? He's like, hey, I'm the man, and he just destroys him in round 1. I don't know. But I think the safe bet and what I'm going to go on is it's just going to be a 5-rounder dominant victory.
Yeah. Paulie, what do you got?
I agree. I'm going to go with a 5-round victory with Jones. He's never been a power puncher, and he's going up to heavyweight. So I'm not looking for like a knockout from him. I'm looking for him to grind out Cyril Gane and show like I can hang with you guys. These guys, I'm strong enough to be a heavyweight. I'm probably the most skilled heavyweight here now. I think he's going to outwork him. We're going to see a lot of groundwork from him, of course. He's probably going to throw a lot of leg kicks. They throw Cyril Gane off. Gane, you know how Gane is. He's a bully. He likes to get in there and get you up against the cage and just work. I
think that's going to work in Jones' favor as well, because we already know how good he is.
Me too.
He's so smart, man.
But we got to see where, like, I hope Jones' head's like, listen, I got to be a little bit safe in this one. I can't go in there in my last 2 fights, so I was lackadaisical. Like, I wasn't interested. He has to. I hope his head's right here.
Huh? Yeah, I mean, I said he was also high, so I mean,
that's some good shit then. That's some good shit he was on.
But you don't know, like, you never know. Like, I don't know if he's on anything now or what. I don't know. If we could focus John Jones, that dude just demolishes everyone he ever fought.
He's the greatest.
Like 10 years ago when he was 22. I mean, I don't know. I feel like this is a tough fight for Jones. I feel like this is actually his toughest fight in that division because Cyril Gane's like him. He's pretty much a bigger him. He's not as good as him in certain areas, but he's not great at one area. Like Francis, he was punching. Jones, I feel like would have killed Francis, to be honest with you. You got, Blade, same thing. He's decent at certain things. I don't know. So I feel like if Jones comes back and wins this fight easily, like, I mean, he got nothing to prove. I mean, just throw him away. He should just leave, retire, take whatever money they gave him. Because, I mean, he got nothing to prove. Like, he got nothing to prove if he wins this fight. But he's saying already, I'm seeing a lot of reports. He thinks he's going to beat Gane, and then he's going to fight Stipe, and then he doesn't know after that. And I actually like that.
Why you got my boy Stipe, man? Why you picking on my boy Stipe? What's wrong with him?
You got to remember, Jones was trying to fight last year. He was trying to fight in the beginning of last year. But UFC did not want him to fight anybody but Francis. He wanted to fight Stipe because he thought Stipe was the heavyweight GOAT, and the UFC did not want it. And it's been a year, so Stipe's been sitting out for a year. Jones has been prepping for a whole nother year. But, I mean, I don't know. He got kicked out of his gym. He's been training with different people. I don't know. I agree with you guys. I think it's going to be a decision fight, but I wouldn't be surprised either, Drew, if he came in first round. I don't think he's going to knock him out, but I wouldn't be surprised if he submitted him in the first round.
Yeah, or even like a TKO where he covers something like that, but I don't think he's going to flatline him.
Yeah, so, I mean, as the fight gets closer and we start talking about it, I'm going to break down the odds. I'm going to see what I have on them because I like doing them parlays where it's like, round 2 TKO submission Jones. I want to do something like that plus points. But I'm excited for this fight. I think it's going to be unbelievable. And we have a lot of fights, like I said, coming up before that are great. And we're going to get into this card today. So with UFC 283, I keep saying 282. I can't believe it's like so many in a row. I feel like it was just UFC 200 where Jones got suspended. Like, it really feels like it was like last year and it was like 6 years ago. So you guys want to start with the main event or the co-main event?
I think I already started with the co-main event, so we can rewind this. Let's work up to that main event though.
Where do you want to start? Davidson Figueiredo versus the interim champ Brandon Moreno. It's the fourth time these guys are fighting. Now I don't know about you guys, but the first fight of this and the third fight of this, first and third, were two of the best fights in UFC history. The first time these guys fought, I had no idea who either one of them was, and I was immediately like, "Yo!"
If you don't watch Ultimate Fighter, Brandon Moreno was like that. Whoa!
I'm not a big Ultimate Fighter thing because I feel like they drag it on a lot. This show, to be honest. But man, I tell you what, like after these guys fought, I'm like, man, they need to put some respect on these little guys because they're the most entertaining. You know. Now, like, I don't think any other UFC fight has went 4 times. Am I correct? It's the first one.
First one,
yeah.
Yeah, because there's been a couple that were 3 that were good, but they're 1-1-1, like crazy. Now coming into this fight, they were both evenly split to win. Now Brandon Moreno is a slight favorite at -1. Figueiredo is -105.
Yeah,
Figueiredo has been talking about moving up in weight class.
I don't see why not.
I don't know if you think that's gonna have anything to do, with this fight and how the outcome goes. But by decision, we got Brandon Moreno +210. We got Figueiredo +250. By KO, we got Figueiredo +430. Moreno +600. Submission +550 for Moreno. +1100 for Figueiredo. And we gotta talk about tie. What if they tie again? +5,000. Now, I don't know which one of you wants to start this breakdown of this fight, but we're going to dive in because there's not really much we need to really, like, talk about what they do good or bad at. They've seen each other, so I don't know. But we got this right here. We got the stats right here. So if you look at them, I mean, this is irrelevant right here, the matchup stats, because they're pretty much the same size. But the thing I want to talk about real quick is how they strike. They're literally identical fighters.
Yeah, they are.
It's crazy. So we're going to talk about it right now. Drew, what do you think is going to be the biggest outcome for one of these guys to take the lead to win this fight?
So real quick, I'll do a little quick history real quick. So Demetrius Johnson, before these guys, was the flyweight GOAT, and he's one of the GOATs in MMA. I don't think he gets enough respect.
Still is.
So good. Yeah, he was so good that he made the rest of the flyweights kind of look like second tier, and it kind of hurt the division because they're already smaller guys. So people are like, "Oh, we want to see the heavyweights," and I get that, but at the same time, the thing I love about the flyweight division is they never get tired. So they're just killing each other for like 5 rounds. If it's a championship fight, 3 rounds, obviously, if it's not a championship fight. But anyways, Demetrius Johnson goes away. Flyweight division's kind of in trouble. They're like, "Oh, we're gonna get rid of this." Then in comes Figgy, who he's kind of that flyweight that's like, oh, this guy's actually knocking dudes out, where typically in the flyweight division, people don't get knocked out. But he's either knocking people out or he's subbing them. So he's super exciting. I loved him coming up, and I was like, I hope this guy becomes champion. Brandon Moreno, they fight the first time. I knew about him because of the tough, like Paul was talking about. Yeah. At the same time, I wasn't like a huge fan of him. But after the first fight, you had to be a fan of both of the guys. And I was like, as these guys started fighting more and more, I became more of a Moreno fan because he's super – I like my background is I like the humble fighters. I don't like the guys who talk all the smack. Like Robbie Lawler is probably my favorite fighter of all time, and he don't talk smack, but when he fights, it's like, holy shit, I got to watch this guy fight. But so anyways, I became more of a Moreno fan and less of a Figgy fan just because – Figgy now is like talking all this stupid stuff. He's so cocky, and he's like, "Oh, I'm a nightmare to Moreno," and it doesn't make sense. How is he a nightmare? You're fighting him for the 4th time. Obviously, he's not scared of you. With all that said, and I love Moreno, and I can't stand Figgy anymore. I got Figgy by KO, and he's going to win this fight. I got it just because, and this is my reasoning. The last time they fought, Moreno got caught with some shots, and he was definitely wobbled, and that was the first time I've ever seen that, because the first fight, he got hit with bombs, and he just ate it and kept fighting. Third fight, he got hit with some bombs again, and you could tell that these were affecting him a lot more. So it's just the way of the warrior. The more you get hit, obviously your chin don't get better in time. It gets worse. I think he just gets caught in this fight. I think he gets put to sleep. I don't think it's going to be I think it's going to be like a flash KO almost, where like he gets hit, is dead on the ground, gets hit maybe one more time, springs back to life. But I think that's the way Figgy wins, by KO. It's kind of off the beaten path because a lot of people are like, oh, these guys are so evenly matched. And I do believe that. But I think Figgy retains the title with a KO. I don't want it to happen, but that's just my gut feeling.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I see exactly what you're saying. I actually have a couple stats here I did real quick after you messaged me, Paul, with some of the fight stats that they have.
Yeah.
And I actually put that as a possibility. But we'll let Paul talk about it first. I don't want to talk about what the differences were in the first 3 fights. And like you just broke it down though, basically, like the champion.
Yeah, he broke it down perfectly. And I want to piggyback off the fact that he got caught. And I do remember him being wobbly, and he kind of got saved. I do think Brandon knows that too. I think he knows, like, I need to not take more damage. He's always gonna be in your face fighting. He's that type of fighter he is, but he's also really good on the ground. And I think we're gonna see that out of Brandon. And I think he wins by submission. I say 4th round.
Yeah, I agree. I actually had that too. I had Moreno submission 4th round, and we're gonna talk about it a little bit more because the next fight, the main event, is kind of how I see them going. And I'm like, do I think both Brazilians are gonna win? Do I think both Brazilians are gonna lose? So I'm like, all right, which one's more likely to win? All right. So I have parlay with both of them in opposite of each other, just because like I don't think they're both going to win. I don't think they're both going to lose. But so in the first fight, I was looking up, they got a draw. Davidson Figueiredo won rounds 4 and 5, and he absolutely in the 5th fight.
Yes, he did.
He killed him in the 5th round. He only outstruck him by 4 times, but he knocked him down 2 times in that 5th round in that first fight. In the second fight, it was a submission by Moreno in the 3rd one. Now, the difference between that fight and the first fight was the takedown attempts. In the first fight, Moreno didn't take him down at all. He didn't even attempt it. In the second one, he went 2 for 2. And on the second one, he kept him down. In the first one, he would have submitted him, but the bell rang. So that was the difference. There was no knockdowns from Figueiredo in that fight because Moreno pressured him. He pushed him up against the cage. Yeah. In the first fight, they kind of let him stand. In the 3rd fight, Moreno got a little bit cocky, and he thought, all right, I can take him down in the middle of the ring. He got knocked down 3 times in that fight. He also lost rounds 4 and 5 in that fight as well. So Moreno seems like he puts all the pressure on him early, and then he dies out. Because out of 2 of the 3 fights, he got dominated in championship rounds.
Yeah.
So, like you said before, you don't get your chin better in the first fight. So the fact that in the last time they fought, he got knocked down 3 times, I would not be shocked at all if he got knocked down and got flash knocked out like you're saying there. Because they're going to throw. It's the 4th fight. These guys are going to want to throw. And I feel like everybody thinks Figueiredo's takedown defense isn't that good. Yet he actually has a better takedown defense than Moreno does, stat-wise. So I feel like, in my eyes, for this fight, it could go either way. But it's in Brazil. Like, we know how them guys are. Like, there's 4 other Brazilian fighters in before them, or 3 before them in the main card. But, like, this guy's fighting for a title. He could fight for a two champ if he wins. So it's like, I'm not comfortable taking either guy here. That's why I'm taking both. But my main one, I'm with Paul. I think Moreno's going to get the submission in the 4th round here. So, I mean, we'll see. You know what? One thing I don't know if you guys noticed in the fights, the leg kicks. The differences in leg kicks from the first fight to the third fight. Listen to these numbers. It's pretty crazy. And I feel like this is the reason why Figueiredo, if he does it again, he might get that knockout. So in the first fight, Figueiredo was 10-1 leg kicks over Moreno. In the second fight, it was 9-4 Brandon Moreno. In the third fight, it was 27-16 Davison Figueiredo. So, I mean, it's proven like we talked about before. If you have a takedown guy and you hit him with the leg kicks, it's going to slow him down. Yeah. So I feel like, in my opinion, that's going to be the biggest factor. How many leg kicks can Figueiredo land to keep Brandon Moreno at bay?
Yeah, you know, takes away from his power though too. So if he's hitting them with leg kicks too, he'll take away from Moreno's power. And also too, you guys mentioned about Figueiredo moving up in weight. I don't think it has anything to do with him just trying to go up that way. I think he's going to be kind of forced because if you notice in the past, he's having issues making weight. So I think it's just getting, the older he gets, the more he's like, all right. And it's happened to a couple fighters in the past too, but I think he's just going to be forced to go to 135 just because he's like killing himself to make 125.
I feel like they're only doing.
I think it'd be decent at 135 though.
He's good. I mean, like you said, he misses weight. I feel like they're only doing this fight to make the money. I feel
100%.
Like might as well. They're 1-1-1. Might as well.
I feel like they might rig the scale a little bit for Figueiredo to make it. I feel like he might probably had a hard time making the cut, which seems crazy. You're that small, like, and you're little, like, I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like you said, you get older though. He is a chef. Yeah. So he probably I mean, I don't know. Paul, what do you think the X factor is for this fight?
Just that. The pressure from Moreno, if he can keep him off him, hit him with those leg kicks and pick his shots, that's a big difference like he did in the last fight. Moreno does put the pressure on him. And you're right, he does tend to fade towards those championship rounds. I think if Figgy turns around and a leg kick is like a body shot for boxing. If he just chops at those legs and picks his shots, I mean we might see an early night for my man Moreno too. So I don't know.
He is a Mexican. We know in that Mexican boxing,
they just go. They just go. Yeah. And Moreno, that's the one thing about him I did notice. He does have a Mexican style of fighting. Like as an MMA fighter, I've never seen that unless it was like two guys, like I don't know, unless it was just two guys throwing. You know what I mean? Like Stefan Bonner versus guys like that. Yeah. He does bring that, but he's also smart getting down to the ground. So I think the X factor really is if Moreno can keep his pressure on him, he can win. If not, I think he's gonna knock him out.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be an interesting fight.
I don't see a 5-round fight.
Hopefully it at least goes like 4 rounds.
That's why. That's it.
Yeah,
that's it. After that.
I just don't want to see. I don't want to see another draw. I mean, we already know who the UFC. They'll be like, yo. I don't know who they'll rig this fight for. I really don't. If they do rig it on the cards, I don't know. I don't care either way. Probably give it to Moreno if they do.
Yeah. I think no more fights after this for these two guys. Just let it go. No fifth fight.
Go. I mean, maybe they'll go into slap boxing. Maybe they'll slap boxing. Oh man, I'm excited for that fight though. Now the main event. This is crazy. We got the co-main event. We got 2 guys that are champions. In the main event, we got no guys that are champions fighting for the light heavyweight belt. Now, the last time some guys fought for the light heavyweight title, it was such a bad fight that it was a draw. I don't know if it was necessarily a bad fight, but it was a draw that Dana White was like, nah, you guys ain't running it back. We're switching it up. So we got Jamal Hill, a.k.a. Sweet Dreams, versus the old man, Glover Teixeira. Glover Teixeira is 43 years old. And this dude just like, he got that grown man strength. I mean, like, let's be real. If he didn't make one mistake against Jerry, he should be the champion. So he made one mistake. He got confident. He got a little bit happy. He thought he was going to win the belt, I think. He's going to defend it. And, like, he didn't expect Jerry to choke him out like that. But do you guys think he can come back and win this fight? He is at home in Brazil. Absolutely. But we got a young, hungry guy in Jamal Hill who's trying to be the first Dana White Contender Series champion. So
it can't go to the cards. They can't bring it to the cards then because
it goes to the cards. Both these guys pretty much finish fights.
Yeah, so it's not going to go to the cards.
Going to the odd. Now we got the odds here. We got Jamal Hill as the favorite at -132. Crazy thing I thought here was like in both main events, the Brazilian guys are the underdogs. I thought that was pretty crazy. So that's why I like double them up maybe. Now we got Glover at +104. We got to go to decision. Glover +600, Hill +900. By knockout, Sweet Dreams +115, Glover +750. Submission, we got Glover at +240 and Hill at +2800. Now, Drew, you went first last time. Paul, what do you think about this fight?
I'm gonna go out. I changed my pick 3 times today on this.
I thought you liked it, bro. I thought that was your guy.
Honestly, I was saying Glover by a submission. Like, then I said, okay, maybe he can grind out a decision. But now that I think about it, I think Glover might get a little old this fight. I think we're gonna see Jamal Hill with a win. He's gonna knock him out. He's due for it.
It's called Sweet Dreams. He knocked the hell out of Johnny Walker. His last fight. Remember that? He smashed his face.
Him up. I think he's like, listen, I think he knows like he doesn't want to upset the boss. Let's just say that. And
I like both these guys. Like
I do too. I love them both. They're pretty good.
Humble and respectable for it. So it's like I don't know. I want to see Hill win because I don't want the old man to be in there anymore.
Yeah, let Hill win. That's why.
But Drew, what do you think about this fight?
Yeah, I agree with Paul because this is one of those fights where like I love Jamal Hill. I think he's the closest to like an actual like legit street fighter in the UFC that you could possibly have. And he even said he started on the streets. He started fighting in the streets. He kept knocking dudes out. So he was like, hey, let's see where I can go with this. So I love that outlook. And it's so like out of the realm of like MMA now because you have to know like 3 different styles now pretty much to be decent in today's fight game. But I just love how he's just like, I'm a brawler and I can hit you and I can put you to sleep. Yeah. But I do respect Glover and everything he's gone through though too. My heart says Jamal Hill is going to knock him out. My brain says he's going to tag him. Glover comes back and submits him like he does in almost every single fight. But I'm going to go with my heart and say, which is a dumb pick, but I think Jamal Hill KOs him and becomes the champ. And then who doesn't want to see Jamal Hill versus Yuri? I think that fight would be a banger. That'd be one of the best in lightweight history, light heavyweight history, I think.
I agree.
Let's get it.
I'd like to see that too. I'm on the opposite end here. I got old man Glover winning, bro.
A lot of people do. The
only reason is this. If you guys remember, Jamal Hill's 11-1. You guys remember his only loss, right?
Paul Craig,
yeah.
He should have won by submission. He basically broke his arm. Remember, his arm came out the socket.
Crazy, yeah.
Crazy submission, which is even crazier that Jamal Hill didn't tap. Like, it was crazy. Like, I remember I became a Jamal Hill fan on that loss. Like, you rarely become a fan of a fighter on a loss, but, like, that made me a fan of him. I've been watching him ever since. Since that loss, he is 3-0 with 3 knockouts, 2 of them in the first round. He's a very fast guy. He has 4 knockouts in the first round in the UFC. He comes in and he goes. Like, the thing is, like, he doesn't go for the knockout either. He just naturally does it, and these dummies just like they open up to him, and he just hits them, like, and he knocks them out. It's like, dude, and like you said, Drew, Glover is old, and Glover's one of them guys that comes in and leaves his face open a lot. to get you in the submission.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's exactly what's going to happen. I feel like Jamal Hill's he's gonna swing and hit him, and Glover's going to be Glover. He's going to get him on the back, and he's going to choke. Once you get on Glover, look at Jan. You just don't get up. You know, I think Hill hasn't been tested on the ground since that Craig fight. He's just knocked everybody out, and I feel like Glover fighting at home, I think it's huge for him. I think it is going to be the difference maker in this fight. That crowd is going to be so loud for that guy that I think it's going to get into Jamal Hill's head a little bit. I think he's going to feel a lot of pressure, and then he's going to feel the pressure coming at him from Glover. I feel like this might be fight of the night, to be honest with you guys.
Could be.
I feel like this could either be fight of the night or, like you guys predicted, Jamal Hill can knock him out in 30 seconds. Yeah. I could see that happening. Yeah. But everybody's been waiting for that to happen against Glover, and it hasn't happened. Yeah. It's like this guy he's like the Tom Brady of the UFC. He just keeps going. But maybe he's going to fall off the cliff here at home. Maybe him being at home is going to be too much of like an upper in the first round that he's going to just lose all his energy. That could happen as well.
True.
I got Glover by submission in round 3.
Ooh.
I like the odds at plus 2,000. I think the odds are great. That's what I'm rolling with. He's on an 8-fight win streak before he lost to Jerry. And I think I bet against him in every one of those fights. I really think I did. Like, since the John Jones loss, I think I bet against like him every fight, man. It's like, all right, we're gonna bet him. I bet against him against a Yuri, and I was like, man, this guy really gonna kill my bet again. Now my X factor for this fight is simply gonna be how close does Jamal Hill allow Glover to get to him? That jab, that straight, that takedown defense. Because Jamal Hill's a long guy. So how good did he work on his takedown defense? If he worked on his takedown defense and it's a stand-up fight, Glover's going to get his ass whooped. Like, he's going to come out there looking like he just fought Cheeto Vera. That can happen. So, Drew, what do you think the X factor is for this fight?
I agree with you 100%. I think Jamal Hill needs to keep his distance. And also, if he tags him and Glover drops, do not jump on him to ground and pound. Let him get back up, keep your distance, and just strike him from the outside. Because if you jump on him, he can reverse you, and then you're done. But I do believe after Jamal Hill starched Johnny Walker, he did fight Thiago Santos, and they went deep into the rounds. And he kind of showcased his takedown defense a little bit in that fight. And he also showcased his cardio, too. He was definitely tired at the end, you could tell. But it was good for him, especially right before he goes into a title fight, to have a fight like that. So I think that's going to benefit him. But I think that's going to be the difference. If he jumps on Glover, or if it gets to the ground at all, I think Teixeira takes it. I'm actually kind of shocked that Glover's the underdog. Even though it's only a slight underdog, I'm still kind of shocked, especially it being in Brazil. I thought Glover would be the favorite. But a slight favorite, though.
I agree. I had a crazy stat here that I like to see, and I feel like this goes along with what we were saying. So, like, Jamal Hill's takedown defense is 66%, which is actually really good at that division.
Yeah.
But the thing that got my eye, which we were just talking about, the distance. He's fought a lot. He lands 6.4 strikes per minute in the UFC. Mm-hmm. Glover absorbs 4.93. So I feel like Jamal Hill's not a guy that you want to take them punches from.
No,
so I think they're going to have counterintuitive, Glover's going to want to get close. So I feel like whoever wins that in the first round. And I know Jamal Hill, his coaches are phenomenal. Like, if you ever watch any of his videos on his YouTube where he has his coaches training him, they really remind me of, like, John Jones's coaches. Like, they literally, like, he's one of them fighters where he listens to his coaches.
Yeah.
And he's good enough to be able to do both. Like, it's very hard to do in the UFC when you're getting kicked and punched in the face. You got this guy running at you. So, I mean, I agree with you with that X factor there.
I respect him, too, because I think talking about his coaches, too, I'm pretty sure he comes from a really small camp where, like, he's, like, the guy from his camp. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I am right. And I like fighters like that who stay true to their camp. Sure, like, eventually he might jump to another camp. But, like, even guys like Dustin Poirier, he's my favorite fighter, so I always talk about him. But he's still loyal to his camp, even though he goes to the American Top Team. And obviously he'll bring out like Matt Brown and all the guys from American Top Team when when he has those big fights, but he always goes back home and he always trains with the camp that he grew up in, just because he wants to stay loyal. So I always respect guys like that. And you obviously need to train with other killers though too, if you're going to get to that point. But I like that right now because Jamal Hill is still young in the game. I like that he's still staying true and loyal to his camp, and maybe that's going to promote his camp to where other big fighters are going to eventually go. Because I think he fights out of Detroit, right? I think that's where he's from. He fights out of Detroit.
He's from Chicago. He's from Chicago. He's out of Grand Rapids, which is a fight town. That's where Floyd Mayweather and James Toney came from. So it's a fight in town.
Yeah. So I like that. I think guys like I think Cody Stamen, he talked about in another interview, like fights out of there too. So there's a couple other fighters, but Jamal Hill for sure is the number one guy out of that camp right now.
Yeah, I agree. I like that as well. I mean, you don't got guys like Colby Covington leaving his camp because he's an a-hole, or Amanda Nunes leaving her camp. A lot of times when you leave your camp, you usually lose that first fight. I think a lot of them have. I feel like he's there though. So Paul, what do you think about the rest of this fight? X factor for the fight?
I agree with what you guys are saying. X factor is definitely if Jamal can use his length, pop that jab, and hit Glover a whole lot, like land as much as he can, he's gonna break his face. Yeah. Jamal, he packs a lot of power behind those punches, and he's explosive. So if he can, and like you said, he kind of reminds me of a Street Fighter, and you can't count a Street Fighter out. He's tough. Glover, like I said, I think he might age when he walks in there because he's gonna look up and see his home. Like, oh, it's possible. I'm in Brazil fighting for a title. This is new. So
very emotional. Like he's gonna be on a roller coaster.
Yeah, he might be like, what am I gonna do?
How quick is he gonna fall down the top? Like, because like you get that rush. It's like a football locker room. Like they were talking about Buffalo this week, and they're talking about how crazy would the crowd go if they had Hamlin lead them out.
Yeah.
Well, like that might not be good because they're going to be like super like pumped up. They might like die off. You might not want that, which is true. Like stuff like that has happened a while. Like look at the Eagles a lot of times when they have Dawkins and then they go, shoo. It's like, and like as an athlete, you understand that. Like we understand that it's true. Like and they're not on the sideline pounding Red Bulls. So I mean, I don't know. It could. I think that crowd will be a factor, whether it's good or bad. I think it will be. Now we got a couple other good fights on this fight card. Now I don't know about you guys, but I'm a huge fan of this one we're talking about. We're talking a lot about Johnny Walker getting his ass knocked out. He's on this fight card. He's the opener of this fight card. Now I'm a fan of Johnny Walker. I think he's entertainment. I think the UFC did a bad job of promoting him. They tried to push him too much, and they gave him fights. He got into his head too quick. Then he got his ass knocked out. Then he went on like some crazy, like he would smoke massive amounts of weed and he got crazy. Like I remember they said he thought people were trying to like literally poison him. Paranoid. He got paranoid. Like, yeah, it was pretty crazy. But the last fight he was in, he won the fight and then they kicked him out of the hotel. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, I don't understand that. I don't understand what happened there.
I still don't know what happened.
I don't understand what happened. Who's coach? Somebody's coach kicked him out, wasn't it?
Like the hotel, the like event area.
I don't understand that. I don't know what happened.
I don't even have my shoes. He was out in the front of the parking lot in that cab with no shoes or nothing in his trunks. Like what the? Yeah. I don't know what happened. But
that's what I love about the UFC though. Is it's still like if you think about it, it's a newer sport. If you really think about it, it's 30 years in now. So it's like they still have these weird things that happen that shouldn't happen. But that's what makes it so exciting though. It's like, for instance, like the James Krause stuff and the gambling stuff. It's like, dude, you're gone. And now they're kicking random fighters out too. Like Jeff Molina's gone too. It's like they're going through things that other sports went through like years ago. But it makes it exciting to see. And there's always these wild headlines too. So it makes it fun though. But to your point though, that was wild seeing that. Just see him walking out in his fight trunks.
He still had his trunks on. It was weird.
I'm sure they'll probably interview him. They probably did interview him about it. I don't know. I gotta look it up. But I like Johnny Walker. He's ranked 12th in the light heavyweight division. He's fighting the number 9 contender, Paul Craig. I love Paul Craig.
Bad
He's
man.
one of my favorite fighters in the whole
bad
UFC.
Man.
Like this dude is just like old school. Like you need to throw him in like a Viking show. Like he's that type of dude. And these guys are complete opposite fighters. Paul Craig wants to take you to the ground and just make you die and choke you out. Johnny Walker wants to flash knockout you. So this is another fight I think that's very entertaining. I don't know what you guys think about this fight, though. I think it's the UFC does a very good job of making the first fight on the pay-per-views good fights.
Yeah. Their matchmaking great.
The odds for this fight actually kind of blew my mind here. I was actually shocked here. I don't have the knockout or anything. Odds for this fight. I have them right here. Now, the odds for the fight. We got Johnny Walker's the favorite at -170. And Paul Craig's the +145 here. Now, I don't know about you guys, but anytime we get a guy that's as talented on the ground against a striker like Johnny Walker as the underdog, I'm putting my money on Paul Craig on this fight. I don't know if he's going to submit him because it is a 3-round fight, but in my opinion, I feel like Johnny Walker's the type of fighter that's going to try and get the knockout. So that might benefit Craig. So I don't know about you, Drew, but what do you think?
It's kind of the same thing with Jamal Hill versus Glover, where it's like I can see Johnny Walker tagging Craig easily just because he's so flashy and he's got these explosive moves. But if he drops him and then jumps on him, like all these other guys have been doing to Paul Craig, he's going to submit him. He's going to turn around and submit him. He wants you to jump on him because he's so good with his jiu-jitsu that I could easily see, to your point, Bobby, I could see Craig pulling up the so-called upset. I think it's a very even match. It just depends on how they fight. If Walker's smart, which he's kind of proven to not really be that smart when he fights, he's just flashy and crazy explosive, and he uses his athleticism to pretty much get him by. Although I do love him. And when he first came on the scene, I thought Walker was going to be like the next big thing. And he was a hype train that definitely derailed real quick. But I still got Johnny Walker winning. Yeah, but he tore his shoulder doing a dumb worm or whatever.
He broke his shoulder, and then it was kind of like I don't know if he was able to throw anymore. I don't know. I'm taking Paul Craig here because I'm biased, but I think overall Walker, if he comes into his own, he's scary. He's a scary guy.
Yeah, he is scary. He's so explosive. I don't know what it is about him.
If he has the mohawk, he's winning the fight. That mohawk, and he goes like Sean O'Malley and makes it blue and green. I mean, green and yellow. I mean, it might be a fight. What do you got for this fight, Paul?
I got Paul Craig by submission, and it's because of Johnny Walker's luck lately. It's a bigger fight than what he's seeing now. So plus he's in his hometown. So I'm rolling with Paul Craig on this one by submission.
Yeah. Now, not only do we start with the Brazilian, we got another Brazilian fight. We got Lauren Murphy versus Andrade. Now, this fight right here, -450 for Andrade. I mean, I think that's a lock. I think that's the only lock of the fight card. I mean, I think people are sleeping on Murphy. Murphy's a very well-rounded fighter, but Andrade breaks people's arms.
That's a strong chick, man.
I mean, do you guys think
that's a strong chick? Yeah, her six-pack is very defined.
I mean, she's definitely probably a dude, but
I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say it. You already got your Facebook fucking kid.
Every time I watch her fight, I just remember her picking up Rose and just slamming her, and I was like, wow, that's a strong woman. And she's not that big, but it was damn, all right. I feel like she can fight too. She can wrestle and all too. So it's she got both. It's I don't know. So Drew, what do you think about for this fight? You going with the -450 favorite, or we got a dog here in Lauren Murphy?
So before I get in this fight, I'm going against the grain with you guys on Paul Craig and Johnny Walker. I got Johnny Walker by TKO. I just think he gets it done. If he's smart about it, obviously. But anyways, getting into Jessica Andrade versus Lauren Murphy. I was never high on Lauren Murphy. I respect her. I think she went on her magic run when she went all the way up and somehow got to Valentina Shevchenko because she is good. She can take a shot and she's got great wrestling, but her striking kind of stinks. Jessica Andrade has been around forever and she's always been good. She's always at the top. She never falls. And if she does, well, obviously she does fall, but it's only to the champions or someone that's about to fight for the championship. But she's always top 5, I feel like, or around top 5. I don't know what her ranking is now. I guess she's 6. But
different weight class.
I got to run in. Yeah. I got to run in through Lauren Murphy, and she's fought the who's who in the women's in 2 divisions now too. I think she fights at flyweight, and I believe it's strawweight too. But she fights in 2 different weight classes. She's one of those people too that I like because she don't really talk, but she just proves herself in all the fights she's been in. The Amanda Lemos girl who's about to fight either for a title or #1 contender spot. She was the hype train coming in, and Andrade did like a standing like choke on her, took her out. I was like, dang, crazy. Yeah. So Andrade is a beast. I got her running through Lauren Murphy.
We finally agree on a fight. Now the next fight, we got a good fight. I think it's another Brazilian fight. We got Gilbert Burns and Neil Magny. Neil Magny's a dog at plus 300. Burns is minus 385. Now I have no problem with Burns being the favorite here, but I think he's getting a little bit too much love here after that Hamzat fight. They're giving a little disrespect to Neil Magny here. Neil Magny's he's a tough fight. He's one of them guys that'll jump on you and submit you, this and that. I mean, I think Burns wins the fight, but it's a 3-round fight. I don't know, like, if he's going to knock him out. I feel like it's going to be a decision by Burns here, just because I feel like Burns, like, is coming off of that Hamzat fight. Even though he lost, it was kind of like a win for him.
Yeah.
I feel like if he wins this fight, he's right back there. He might get a title shot again, possibly. Like, he's right there. Where Neil Magny's kind of like, in my opinion, he's going to be one of them guys that is going to be like a stepping stone for a guy to get a title, but he's never going to get one. You know, I like Neil Magny though. He's always one of them guys that fights good. What do you think about here, Paul? You like Gilbert or you like Magny?
Tough fight. 2 guys are gonna go at it. I'm rolling with you on this one. I want to say Gilbert Burns is gonna win. I think he's seen what he could do against the top guys, and he took on Hamzat and beat and really gave him a fight like nobody ever had. I think Gilbert's gonna win. He's probably gonna grind out a 5-round decision like he did against Wonder Boy, which again I picked Wonder Boy in that fight. So I don't want to pick against him no more. So I'm gonna roll with Burns in this one.
Yeah, I mean, the difference is here, like, Magny he's a ground guy. Like, he can take you on the ground and fight you on the ground. I just think, like, it's a bad matchup for him because Burns is so much bigger than him. I feel like he's just going to bully him.
Yeah.
What do you think, Drew?
Well, talking about Magny, he's one of those fighters. He's awesome for the welterweight division just because he's one of those guys that he's proven that hard work does pay off. He's one of those guys you look at him, you're like, all right, you can't do nothing. But he's beaten some of the who's in the welterweight division, and you can tell it's all because of hard work. And other fighters have said the same thing too. We're like, this dude is always in the gym and he's always working and improving, which I love about him. Saying that though, he's one of those guys that I agree with you guys. I don't think he's ever going to sniff like a title shot. I think he's going to always get close. I won't call him a gatekeeper, but I think he's always going to float around, like, he's ranked 12 right now. I think he's always going to float around like 8 through 15. But he's that good, but he's just not good enough, I feel like. So I got Burns winning. I wouldn't be shocked if he clips him. But I think the safe bet is by decision since it's a 3-round fight.
Well, hopefully he knocks him out so, like, all the fights can go to the finish. I mean, it's only happened one time in the last 30 years, so I can see this fight card going that way as well. So, I mean, I'm rooting for Burns, especially after that show he put on against Hamzat. A lot of people didn't think, all right, this guy's not going to be able to fight a striker that's taller than him. Mm-hmm. Magny's taller than him as well. So it's like, all right, can he beat a grappler that's taller than him? So I feel like it's a good fight for Burns to show off he's real again. I'm a fan of Burns. He's a little pit bull out there. Like, dude's just he's a scary guy too. I mean, he is. I want to talk about a couple more fights on the undercard. The main one I want to talk about is Shogun. Shogun's having a fight in Brazil. It's his final fight of his career. He's done.
That's it.
He fight Ihor Peteria. Shogun's a dog in this fight. Do you guys think there's any way he can go out like Ray Lewis and be on top and leave?
A farewell against a former champion in Brazil. If he grinds out a 3-round fight, he wins. I'm saying it right now. They're going to give it to him.
I think isn't it a 5-round fight because it's the prelim main event?
It is the main, yeah. So, 5-round fight.
It's a 5-round fight.
The
Shogun fight can go 5 rounds.
Shogun fights could be 3 rounds.
I told you it's a 3-round fight.
Well,
yeah.
That's what I was looking at. Just now, like, oh, it's 3 rounds.
Yeah, but sometimes they put them prelims at 5 rounds.
Nah, just main event of every card's 5 round, and then if it's a championship fight. So, like for instance, Figgy versus Moreno, even though it's co-main, that's gonna be a 5 rounder.
No, I know because it's the pay-per-view. I know the last couple fights they had on prelims were 5 rounds. So
I think it's just like the ESPN Plus cards. The main fight in those cards though are always 5 rounds as well.
Yeah, I think you're right.
For me though,
his ass whooped.
What you say? You think Shogun to get his ass whooped?
Oh man, come on, give
I agree. Shogun should have retired 35 years ago.
Come on, man, give old timer some love. Let him go on top. Let him get a gift. Let him get him a gift decision.
His last fight that he came out, now we were just like, I forget who he fought. He fought another old head, and we're like, why is this guy fighting? He looks terrible. Like he looked exhausted. He looked like he was just gray. Like he shaved his beard and he was still gray.
Yeah.
Like it was like, dude, like.
And
I mean,
he's a legend. Shogun back in the day was a beast. If you watch him in like Pride and even early UFC days, he was unbelievable. But he is way past his time. He should have retired probably 6 or 7 fights ago. That's how bad it's been. And they're giving him a young, hungry dude. I have him losing, unless if it's these are one of those fights where it's like if he wins, you might think the UFC might be fixed a little bit, but
I think it's going to be fixed.
I don't think so because this guy's young. It's a younger guy he's fighting who's he's coming off a loss though. He is coming off of a loss though. I mean, I don't know, but like this guy wins most of his. He wins like 45 or 55% of his fights by knockout. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I could see him putting Shogun night real quick. I would hate to see it. I'm not rooting for that. I'm rooting for a decision loss. Let him go out, sad but not so sad. I don't see any way he wins this fight though. But I think it'll be cool to see if he doesn't get finished, even if he loses, he's gonna get interviewed to see him in that arena in Brazil get an interview. I think that'd be pretty cool to see that happen for him because he's a great fighter.
Yeah.
We got another fight on here. You're talking about training partner, and not really a training partner, but he trains in the same gym as Jamal Hill. We got Cody Stamann on our. He's one of them guys I like too. He's one of them guys that comes out and he puts on a show every fight he's in. He's on the undercard fighting Juan Lacerda. I don't know who that guy is, but Stamann's the favorite at -340. We got Terrence McKinney. Now I want Terrence McKinney to win because he's been calling out Patty, and I want him to fight Patty because I think he will whoop Patty's ass. So hopefully Terrence McKinney wins. But Drew, you got any other to talk about on the card? I hate Patty.
T-Rex, let's go.
You got any other fights you want to talk about on this card, Drew?
Well, have you guys seen McKinney fight? That dude is a beast.
He's an animal. T-Rex
so
is
ran through everybody.
Player.
Super aggressive. Everybody except for Drew Dober, who I'm high on too. I love Drew Dober. He just has a brick chin. So McKinney hit him with like 3 flying knees to the chin, couldn't knock him out, and then he just got tuckered out, and that's the reason why he lost. But I see McKinney just, even though these Bonfim, there's 2 of the Bonfims are fighting on this card. They're from Dana White's Contender Series. They're both real good, but I just don't think they're at McKinney's level. The Ishmael guy he's fighting, I think McKinney just runs through him like he's been running through everybody besides Drew Dober. So I see him winning. Another fight I wanted to talk about real quick is this Jalton Almeida guy. He fights at light heavyweight and heavyweight, but he's been recently fighting at heavyweight because he's just been tackling pretty much every heavyweight and then subbing them real quick. He's a 975 favorite, -975. Oh. And I think he kills this dude. He runs through him. This guy's my bold prediction for Jalton is he going to be top. He's not even ranked. He's going to be top 5 before.
I ain't say no names.
No, not the fat dude. Not the fat guy here.
Yeah, Shamil
looks like some like
Shahomil.
He reminds me of Who's one of them old heads they just cut UFC? Who's like a Brazilian guy?
Jacare.
Name.
Jacare.
I'm not gonna look it up. They just cut. Nah, not Jair. He does look like a young one. I forget his name. Why can't I remember his name? I'm gonna look it up. They just cut him. I just seen UFC cut him, and he was shocked. He kind of looks like him. The guy. I'm gonna show you after. I'll find.
Oh, Francisco Trinaldo.
Yeah, Francisco Trinaldo. He looks like. He looks exactly like him. I swear. I'm like, dude, it's his son. Look at him. Yo, he's a beast. This guy. Like, I like how he's one of them guys, like you said, Paul. I mean, Drew. He's a versatile guy that can go light, heavyweight. I feel like he might be one of them guys that down the road becomes a double champ possibly. Like I think he's that good. Look at some of his numbers here.
Nobody talks about him that much either, too, which is crazy because but he's surging. He's surging.
On average, he has think about per 15 minutes he has 7 takedowns in a fight. That's pretty crazy. But then if you look at his strikes, he lands 3.5 strikes too. So it's like, dude's whooping you, man. Whooping you. I do like him. I mean, if you want to bet -900, though, good luck. Go ahead. He is one of them guys that if you have a parlay, you add him into your parlay.
100%. Safe bet, extra cash.
Exactly. I mean, it might not be a lot, but he's going to knock out that guy that Paul doesn't want to say who he looks like. But, yo, that was fun. I love doing these UFC breakdowns. Drew, thanks for coming on with us. I love how you always post your picks on there. So I gotta start going with your picks because last year my picks were it was a bad year for me. Like, to be honest with you, I wasn't very good. I was good on a lot of the main cards, but a lot of these other cards, like 2 years ago, I hit every fight. Mm-hmm. Last year, I was like, I got on the other end of every bad judge call, and everyone I had the opposite of Peter Yan twice. Like Patty, I was on the other end of him. I mean, it's crazy. Like you said, UFC still new. I mean, it's only relatively been in, mainstream media and TVs for 15 years now.
Yeah.
That's pretty baby though. So Drew, when we do our next one, we'll be going on about probably next month. Because we got the UFC 284. We'd love to have you back on for that, break that down. But before we get out of here, you guys got anything else you want to talk about with this fight?
Nope. It's going to be a fun card to watch.
I agree.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun card to watch. I hope a lot of fireworks. That's all I ask for.
I think we will see that.
A lot of it.
Yeah, it's going to be a real fun card. Exciting. I think there's going to be a lot of stoppages in this fight because there's a bunch of mismatches. So I think there's going to be a lot of stops. I'm sadly missing some of the card because I'm going to a rehearsal dinner for a wedding. But I appreciate you guys having me on. I love doing these the most out of any podcast. I love talking MMA. Anytime you do it and I can make it, I will for sure jump on. Yeah. Same with Matt too, but he's got a new baby, so it's gonna be tough for him. But
I feel his pain. Don't worry.
Yeah, exactly. It's tough. I don't even have a kid, and I know it's tough.
Whoa.
I'll have fun with that.
You got 2 of them, so I know.
Oh man. But yo, Drew, thanks for coming on, man. It's fun.
Appreciate you guys.
Catch y'all later. Have a good night, guys.
Appreciate you too. Take care, guys.
Go with the money off our bets because that's what we do it for. Make your bets because, you see these Instagram posts, they be putting up some crazy stuff. I see people. I don't even that's terrible bet. But good luck. We'll catch y'all later. Drew, thanks again. Paul, peace out. We'll see y'all later.
See y'all later.